What's going on YouTube? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and today I'm going to be doing a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 and the Lenovo Tab P11 Pro. They're both great tablets, but which one should you buy? Which one is worth your hard-earned money? I'm going to let you know right now. Let's get into this comparison. Alright, so I've got both of these tablets here, and the first place I want to start is the design of these tablets. Now if we take a look at these, you're going to notice that both of these are made of aluminum. Both of these tablets have a very similar weight. We're talking less than 15 grams of difference. And if we look at the Tab S7 here, you're going to notice that this has two speakers on this side. You're also going to notice two speakers on this side with a USB-C port, and you're going to see a micro SD card slot here, a fingerprint sensor, and if you look at the bottom of this device, you're going to see this magnetic connector, which can connect the Samsung keyboard. Now you're going to see all of those things are on the Tab P11 Pro as well, including dual speakers here, a micro SD card slot, a fingerprint sensor, which is right here on the side actually, and you have up and down on the volume. You're going to see dual speakers on the other side with a USB-C port and the magnetic connector as well. So if you look at the ports and things like that, you're not going to see a lot of differences there. But one place we will see a difference on these devices is the display. The Tab P11 Pro, it has an 11.5-inch screen, but the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 only has an 11-inch screen. Now they do both have the same resolution at 2560 by 1600, but another difference is the refresh rate between the two. So the Tab P11 Pro, it does only have a 60 Hz refresh rate. So if you don't know, the refresh rate just helps the screen to refresh a little bit quicker while you're scrolling. It makes things a little smoother. Well, the Tab S7 has a 120 Hz refresh rate, so things do look a lot smoother when you're scrolling on the screens. Outside of that, I did notice the Tab S7 just has a hint more of brightness, but both devices are very, very bright on their screens. And the Tab P11 Pro is an OLED display, while the Tab S7 is not OLED. It's one of those IPS LCD screens, and this Lenovo Tab P11 Pro, it's technically a pin tile display, and I know that makes the text just a little bit blurrier on the screen. Now I did not notice that personally, so in a lot of ways I think these screens are both phenomenal. They're great. Now if I need to decide which display I like better, I do like the Tab S7 display just a little bit better, and it's mainly because of that refresh rate, because when you're scrolling through things look so smooth. Also the screen gets very bright and things look very crisp on it overall. So I think the Tab S7 has a little bit of a better screen, though not by too much. Now you may be wondering how these two devices perform, and I would say they both perform pretty well. Now the Lenovo has a Snapdragon 730G, so it is a little bit of a lesser processor. So if you are gaming on the Lenovo Tab P11 Pro, you're going to be looking at medium settings for most games like Fortnite or PUBG. But outside of that, I didn't notice a lot of hiccups, so it does perform great when I'm actually scrolling through and viewing content. So I think performance is still good on the Tab P11 Pro, but the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7, it has a Snapdragon 865 Plus. It is very lightning fast as far as performance goes. You can also game on very high settings on the Tab S7 or the Tab S7 Plus. Now one thing to keep in mind is that the base model of the Tab S7, it does have 6 GB of RAM, and the base model on this, it has 4 GB of RAM. If you look at the Tab S7, it retails at $650. The Tab P11 Pro, it starts out at $500. Now if you go up to $550, you get those 6 GB of RAM, and if you go up to $600, you get all of the accessories, including this little kickstand case that magnetizes to the back, and the keyboard and the stylus, and absolutely everything. Now if you want the keyboard case for the Tab S7, you're looking at an extra $200, so that brings up the retail price to $850 compared to $600 with this Lenovo tablet. So one area that the P11 Pro really succeeds in is value and pricing. So if you want all of the accessories, the P11 Pro gives you a terrific value, and that's really one great reason to buy it. You may wonder what device has the best accessories, because you sure can get a good value with the P11 Pro, but how good are the accessories that come with it? Well, I would say they are very equal to the Tab S7 in various ways. So the Tab P11 Pro, it has a similar kickstand case on the back that magnetizes to the device. The Tab S7 keyboard case works exactly the same way. And the keyboard part, it just magnetizes to the bottom. That's the same for the Tab S7. And the Tab P11 Pro. But one area that I think the Lenovo does a great job is simply the keyboard and the travel on the keys. So I did feel like the Tab S7 keyboard was a little bit crammed, and I didn't feel that way quite as much with this tablet. Now, yes, of course, it is crammed compared to a full-sized keyboard. But when you look at this and you compare it to other keyboards out there that are for travel and they're lightweight and everything, this has a great travel on the keys. So I really love this keyboard. I think it's great. I think it's a great value, and I do think it's better than the Tab S7 keyboard. I also think the stylus that comes with the P11 Pro is better because it just feels more like a regular pen. So it's a little more full. The Tab S7 pen, it's just a little bit lighter and thinner, and it's flat on one side, and that allows it to magnetize to the Tab S7. And if you buy the Tab P11 Pro, it does come with something to attach the pen. But one area that I really think the Tab S7 wins out on is the stylus, and I know that sounds contradictory to what I just said, but the stylus is better to use because of the input lag. So the Tab S7 does have a faster refresh rate on the screen. So using this stylus, even though I like this stylus better on the P11 Pro, using the stylus practically is a little bit nicer because the refresh rate is so good on the Tab S7 that if I'm using it, the pin input and the pin itself, they stick together very closely. So it's very accurate whenever you're using the pin. So I really do like the stylus itself a little bit better on the Tab P11 Pro, but overall the experience of using the stylus, I give that to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7. I think it's a great experience and I really enjoyed it. Now the one thing I didn't like about Lenovo and their accessories was simply the fabric that they used on the keyboard case. They put that fabric on the bottom of the keyboard and also on the back of the case, so if I set this down in any form or fashion, if I set it on a table, it's going to get that fabric all over stuff. So if you have crumbs on your counter, things like that, that stuff can naturally soak into this fabric. It's something that's going to be a little more difficult to clean, and a lot of these fabric cases can get damaged if you're not careful. So when you consider everything and the fabric, when you consider that I love the stylus, but the input lag is just a little bit higher, and when you consider that I absolutely love the key travel on the Tab P11 Pro, when you consider all of those things, I'd say they're about an equal experience between the two devices. Because I hate the fabric, but I love the keyboard, I love the stylus, but I don't love the input lag. And when you consider all of those factors, I'd say they're both pretty equal, and that's not a bad thing. Now, one other thing I do want to talk about is the software experience, and simply put, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 wins in this department. First off, Samsung DeX is better than Lenovo's productivity mode, and the Tab S7, honestly, it has a lot of other things going for it. The fact that it's getting more updates as far as software goes, they are giving 3 years of big operating system updates to a tablet, and Lenovo, they released with Android 10, and I highly doubt they're going to get more than Android 11, so I'm expecting one big Android update, and that's it. So not only will Samsung get better updates, not only does Samsung have a better experience with Samsung DeX, but also I really enjoyed the fact that they have apps on here that allow the tablet to force apps into landscape mode. So the Best Buy app that only works in portrait mode, it can now work in landscape mode. So that's a huge thing, because when you have a kickstand case like this Lenovo, when the tablet is meant to work in landscape mode and you have this on a table, you're trying to use it in landscape mode, but then your app forces you to go to portrait mode, you have to pick up your tablet and you have to change it to portrait mode, right? You can't use it with your kickstand anymore. So the fact that Samsung has some apps out there that have been able to fix that issue, that is a really big bonus. So in every single way, I think the Samsung software is a little bit better. Now I know Lenovo is a little more stock Android, and that is a bonus for that. But overall, I give the win as far as the software to the Tab S7. So when we look at the Tab S7, it does have dual speakers on both sides, but so does the Tab P11 Pro. When we look at the Tab S7, it has a fingerprint sensor, but so does the Tab P11 Pro. A magnetic connector for the keyboard, so does the Tab P11 Pro. Accessories, the Tab P11 Pro accessories are great, and resolution on the screen looks great. Performance is good enough. So when we think about value, okay, and we look at the pricing, again, if you want a keyboard, if you want a stylus, if you want all of the accessories that these tablets would have to offer, the bottom line is the Lenovo will save you $250 as far as the retail price goes. Now, sales will come and go on both devices. I will have links in the description, so check it out, see if there's any sales going on. But in the end, when we compare these two devices and we compare them at the retail price, I would say the better value is the Lenovo Tab P11 Pro, but only by a hair. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I found a lot of great sales on the Tab S7 over time. You're going to find the same, I'm sure, with the Lenovo tablet. So if you see the Tab S7 on a super steal, on a super sale, which comes all the time, then yes, if they're side by side and they're a similar price, I would definitely say get the Tab S7. But in reality, it's just not that simple, and a lot of times it's really hard to compare these in reviews because sale prices go up and down for both devices. So in the end, yes, the Tab P11 Pro, it does have a cheaper price, and yes, it's a great value out there, but a lot of you just have to consider what you want in a tablet. Do you want a better refresh rate? Do you want better performance? And do you want better software? Well, if you want all those things, then yes, you should get the Tab S7, and you shouldn't even worry about getting the better value, because what's a better value if you just don't like the tablet experience? But if you want to save money, if value is important to you and you're just looking to get a great tablet for entertainment purposes, you're going to get a phenomenal screen on the Tab P11 Pro, and you can get all of those accessories for a cheaper price than the Tab S7, at least at retail. So if you don't care as much about forcing apps into landscape mode, if you don't care as much about the things like the refresh rate on the screen, you're going to get a great experience on the Tab P11 Pro. And if that's the case for you, if you just want to save some money and get most of the features, then yes, I would recommend the Lenovo tablet to you. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully all of this helps you make a decision. Please give me a like, give me a sub, and please have a phenomenal day and a great week.